Good morning and welcome to Cheche, the show where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV. I'm your host, Udwa Kamimo. Today's guest first came to the public's attention when she ran for president in 1997, but her political career started earlier as Member of Parliament for Kitui Central. She remained the MP there for 20 years. Cheche Ngilu is the chairperson of NARC, the party that won the election of 2002 under former President Mwai Kibaki. But like most politicians, she's been on the governing and opposition side of politics. She supported Raila Odinga during the 2007 polls. Mrs. Ngilu has also served in government as a Minister of Health, Water, and most recently as the Lands, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary. She was suspended from that post over corruption allegations, which she denies. A court case is ongoing. Mrs. Ngilu now says she wants to be the governor of her county, Kitui. Cheche Ngilu is our guest this morning on Cheche. As always, we have the regular panel of Mutegi Njau and David Makali. Good morning and welcome to Cheche.
Good morning, Odek.
We haven't seen you for a while. You've been very quiet since you left government, and we'll come to that in a minute. But first, let's focus on your politics. And this ambition you have for Kitui. Why do you want to be governor, not senator, MP? Why governor?
I'll tell you. First, I want to thank you so much for inviting me to this morning's program. But I'm happy to meet you once again. I've been here before. Yes, I have decided that I need to try to be the governor of Kitui County. And the reasons are that I see many gaps that are left that can actually be filled by leadership that is people-focused, by leadership that understands the unmet needs of the people. And having been a Member of Parliament in Kitui for 20 years, I attended to a lot of them, but there's still a lot to be done. Here I'm looking at what can be done to really empower the people, looking at the resources available in Kitui. And the first resource that I see in Kitui County is the people themselves, that they can be actually helped by good leadership to achieve their potential. It's for that reason that I've been going around to the people, and people themselves have spoken and say that it is possible that they want to elect a person who they have seen working for them, serving them, fighting them, because in politics you must have somebody who really fights for you, fights for your issues, and I've done that before. So that is partly the reason why I'm going to run for that one.
Well, you've got quite a battle on your hands, given that you contested in 2013 for the senatorial position. You lost that.
Yes.
And Kitui now has the incumbent governor interested in retaining his seat, the senator whom you lost to interested in the governor's seat, and you're all fairly substantive politicians there.
Yes, I do certainly appreciate that in 2013 I lost. I do know the reasons that made me lose.
Why did you lose?
Partly because I left the ministry to go and start running for office just a bit late. Two, in the whole area, there was this feeling or believe that the former vice president had been betrayed by the people who I went to work with. And I believed certainly that we were all in politics when these things happened. And therefore, for anybody to have run away from Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, when it happened, we were all in it. I felt that it was unfair. So partly people thought and believed that I should never have gone to support them. It is for that reason that I was...
You were punished for aligning yourself with Jubilee.
Yes, yes.
Now that you're going to run and you are moved from, you suspended from the Jubilee government.
Yes.
Now you have gone to Kitui. What party are you in?
I'm still in NARC. I'm still in NARC.
Still affiliated to Kalonzo or affiliated to Jubilee?
I'm in NAC, and remember, I'm very independent.
I think the question Mutegi is trying to ask you is which way are you going to align yourself?
Yeah.
You've been with Jubilee, but you seem to have fallen out with Jubilee. Are you courting any alliances? Are you going to align yourself with
I like the way you say I seem to have fallen out of Jubilee. I'm just saying that even when I went to Jubilee, I went with NAC. I never went to Jubilee.
That's understood.
And for that reason, first and foremost, when I went to Jubilee to work with them, remember that they did sign on issues that were very pertinent to me, which are still obtaining to this day, in the sense that I see a lot of things that should have been done, 3 years down the line since we got into government, that has still not been done. And in politics, you must understand that once you set your goals, once you say, this is my manifesto, once you say, this is what I want to achieve, you really must achieve it. And if you don't achieve it, you will be punished by people. The pledges we made must be met.
Should we say then that you're not going to work with Jubilee as NAC or in your new forays? I'm
saying that today we are 15 months to election. I'm sure there will be very many, realignments towards the election. But certainly I would still want to have an issue-based, alignment. That we say these are the things that we are going to be dealing with when we get in government. Because when you look at the things that politicians talk about, when they go to people and what they do thereafter, you really look at them and say, really, are these the same people who only a month ago were saying this and this and this?
So you're playing your cards close to your chest. You won't tell us which way you're going, part of which is a survival tactic, isn't it? Because your competitors are both in Wiper. Right?
That's okay.
Yeah. So even if you're to align with Kalonzo,
first of all, those who are in Wiper will have to fight it out amongst themselves. Okay? Once they have fought it among themselves, then you know the person you are going to deal with, or the people you are going to deal with. But until you know, then you are not going to say, this is the direction that I will be going. But I think Kitui is ready for leadership that is going to take them to the next level.
But Kitui is primarily Wiper. You can't run away from that.
By the way, I want you to know that people may not so much be looking at the party. They may so much be looking at the person who is going to give them better services. And they also may be looking at a person with some experience. And may I share with you here that even with all that happened in 2013, I was going late. First of all, I went very late, and people told me, you came so late. You didn't tell us exactly what you wanted. You were sitting in your office in the Ministry of Water and doing so much work, but when you came, people had lined themselves up. I still got very, very good votes.
The same people might tell you, you have come to us because you lost in Jubilee. You are not with us. You went to Jubilee, now you come back because you are removed from Jubilee.
Not necessarily. I am listening very closely to what people are saying on the ground.
Well, let me ask you, what is your relationship now with Kalonzo? Because you left them just before the formed code. In fact, you went to Jubilee pretty late. You were almost in code, and then people saw you appear at the Jubilee coalition rally. And now you came back from government, and Kalonzo embraced you, went with you to court. Seems like he never, he never has a grudge against you. You're the one who goes and comes back to him and have fights, and then comes back and he agrees. What is your accommodation with him now?
Do you know, I would like to dispel this thinking of people that always have fights with Kalonzo. I only want to say that there are things that I strongly believe in, and that I see that leadership can deal with it, and therefore I like to put a lot of pressure on leaders to actually deliver, not just Kalonzo and not others. Even today, I like to put a lot of pressure on President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto to really deliver, because there are things that we did promise people that we were going to do this, and time is running out. We have 15 months to general elections. Are we sure that we have been able to monitor what we said we were going to do?
But
are we able to say we have been able to evaluate our achievements so far? I think you got to differentiate. When I say this has not been done successfully or well.
Yeah, on the issue part, I have no problem with what you're articulating. What I'm looking at is the political matrix that you're coming back away from Jubilee introduces in, let me say, Ukambani. There are three flanks. There is one that you don't know where it is, being led by Chap Chap, by Dr. Alfred Mutua. There's Kalonzo, who leads the main, Wiper, which is the dominant party in Ukambani, and now there is NAC yourself. So when you come in here, how are you going to play with these two other people in the field?
I do believe people from Ukambani will be able to listen, and listen carefully to what will be good for them. And when you only go to the people, you are able to sell your agenda to them. You'll be able to sell your manifesto. They'll be able to see what you are capable of doing, what you have been able to do before, and they'll be able to judge. So we should leave this for people to decide.
Are you working together with Wiper or Kalonzo particularly, since you moved out from Jubilee?
You see, you have said this very well. You said that in Ukambani we have a lot of people who are in Wiper. So if I'm in Ukambani, I'm working with all those in Wiper, all those in Chap Chap, all those in NAC. I've got to work with them. People, yes.
Why are you going for the governor's seat and not the senator?
I'll tell you why. Because that will bring me a little close to the people, and I think I'll be able to do what I love to do most,
which is
building capacity of people so that they can excel. Looking at the available resources, and I started by saying that the most important resource in this country is human resource. And if you look, for instance, this 1 year that I've been out, I've been able to go and work with grassroots people, women especially, and youth. And the whole of last week, I found a very interesting group of women in the whole county that are actually doing their own table banking, and they have been doing that for so many years. And they number nearly 100,000. And every week, every month, they come together and they say, this is the amount of money we have been able to collect amongst ourselves. How much do they have in circulation in the county? Nearly R1 billion shillings amongst themselves. And I thought, what a good idea of having people who are so well structured to work with and to help them go to the next level. For instance, I was just looking at these groups and saying, it is possible now to get these women to be trained, to build the capacity of these women, and ensure that they can also get into the 30% procurement policy of government, both county and national, and that within their systems, they'll be able now to get more money for themselves. And you know, once you build women in this way, you have built the nation.
So that's the women's vote that you're courting. What about young people?
They are both women, young and old. And then I'm looking at the youth. And here I want to say that I may not be able to do it alone. We now got to, as government and as leadership, think about what we are doing about our youth. I was looking at the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics report of 2012, and I saw that people between the ages of 3 and 18 number about 5.6 million, and the who do not have anything to do, 5.6 million. If you have 5.6
people between the age of 3 and 18.
And 18.
But those are children, though.
No. Some of them are not even. So they are not in school. They are not in school.
Oh, that's what you mean, right?
That's what I mean. They are not in school. And since they are not in school, it means that those are people who grow and they do not have anything to do. This is the young people we are talking about. Now, if you look at that lot, they obviously become a security risk to the nation. They are unemployed, they are restless, they are being arrested every now and then for this and that. And as government, we continue to increase the number of security officers. Whatever we do, we have got to look at the causes of the problem, of these problems, much more than dealing with the symptoms of the problems. This is where I see that we need to go.
Now that we've talked about women, I think one of the disadvantages you have is that you are a woman running for governor. If you look at the current crop of governors, there's no woman. Women don't elect women. Kenyan people don't elect women to top leadership. Do you see that as a problem?
You know, this is what we have been told, and we have heard many times, that women don't elect women. I disagree. I think women like to elect women. I think women are capable and are good leaders, and actually are people who deliver on services, because once you put a woman in an office, I can assure you, she will strictly go to what you tell her to do, and she'll be able to achieve for everybody. But of course, to just make women feel that they are not right, people will keep on telling them, you know, even God said that you have got to be always behind, you are to be led. And here we are not talking about, when people think about leading, they don't associate leadership with service.
That's the problem with our culture, because if you look at when you run for election, you came nowhere. Mother Karua the same, Wangari Maathai the same. And all the women contestants who ran for governor, none of them won.
Yes, but it's not because they are not good. It's because of these prejudices that you know,
that's
people will just say,
culture.
Yeah, the culture, stereotype thinking.
One of the questions Mutegi asked you before we came on air was where you were married from, whether you were born in Kitui, and whether your husband came from Kitui. What was your response to that?
You know, this is something that I wish not to dwell on it. And the reason is, that is where it begins for a woman. Where do you come from? Where are you married? Where do you go back and look for a seat where you are born and not where you are married? You know, questions that for me are so irrelevant that they do not need to be answered.
But I think for you it doesn't matter where you, because you have been elected for 20 years in Kitui, although you are not born in Kitui.
How did you know that I was not born in Kitui?
Well,
but anyway, never mind. You
are married from outside Kitui.
Never mind that.
Yes.
I think Kenyan people are very good people, but there are many people who want to guide them and tell them, no, a woman cannot.
But you should be using your example to, in fact, disprove those claims.
But that is what I'm trying to say, and say
rather
that
than shy away from addressing even dismiss it.
No, I'm saying that where one is born and where one is married, for me, is not material. The material thing is what you do when you go and ask them to elect you, and they elect you, and what you do in a service.
It also applies to men. Let's not just say it's also in only women. I mean, I've seen men who are told, you were not born here, you settled here, go back to your where you know.
But can we locate this conversation though in the present current affairs? Because tomorrow Parliament is supposed to revote on the 2/3 gender bill, the Duale bill that was presented. There was lack of quorum last week. Now, you are strongly defending yourself here, it doesn't matter, but we haven't heard your voice when it comes to this movement for the 1/3, 2/3 gender principle.
It has been quite difficult, especially since I left the office, and I want just to say that...
difficult in what sense?
In the sense that I've not been too busy in public work. And I intend to just get back to my public work at a national level. I went back at a grassroots level, and I just want to say that once again, what we are seeing about this bill in Parliament is people trying to fight it. We are not seeing goodwill. We are not seeing people coming out and supporting it. It is for this reason that you will even see, I also want to say here that some women not even supporting it. They will be told that leave it, and they'll find a way of not supporting it. I want to say that where we came from, very few women we were from 1992 when I got elected, and before then there were others. We remember in 1997 when Dr. Phoebe CEO actually brought a motion, the first motion in Parliament, and I remember how we fought, and it was fought, of course, nobody would believe. And I thank God that we continued, we never gave up. And the new constitution has given us a few more benefits than we had then, and we're still going to be seeing more changes. The bill in Parliament, because you saw how people are playing, may not go through. And I want to say that even if it doesn't go through, women should never, and we shall never give up. We'll continue with this fight to ensure that women are included in leadership, in development, in opportunities.
The question that people keep asking with regard to that bill is whether it's giving women too much on a silver platter, and why they cannot fight the way you have fought. And you're an example of those who have gone into the field and taken a victory.
There's a lot that needs to be done.
Is there an admission on the part of women of lack of fight or failure to do certain things, leave alone the prejudices that we suffer, that they may suffer, that are well recorded?
Let me say to you that from where I've come from in politics, I saw a lot of concerted efforts by different groups to actually build capacity of women, political capacity, training them, helping them to run for office. And we had some very good organizations that time who even put some little resources to us to train the people and to help us campaign on the ground. That is not happening, and I would like to say here that if women had the kind of resources that men have, we can see more women. I want to believe that in 2013, if Mother Karua had the kind of resources that we were seeing in Jubilee and in CORD, I'm sure Mother would have made a huge difference. Just huge difference. But women do not have resources. And again, there's another risk that women will not take. Women will not go and sell their family land or family property to run for office. Whereas, a man will sell everything, including the house that the whole family is living in, so that he can go and run for office, and not even being sure that he's going to make it. So we see all these differences. And obviously, I would support a woman not to sell a family property to go and run for office.
Okay, we have to take a break now. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV. We're considering the political ambition and direction of the NOC party leader, Charity Ngilu. Our SMS number is 22422. You can tweet us using the hashtag Cheche.